One who is faithful in what is smallest is faithful also in much, and one who is unjust in what is smallest is unjust also in much. Luke 16, verse 10. Hello, I'm Henry Neufeld, president of Pacesetters Bible School, with today's Running Toward the Goal. Let me give you a brief warning. I'm working again from an outline instead of a transcript, so I'll probably run just slightly longer than usual. I could paraphrase this text. One who faithfully takes care of little things also faithfully deals with the big things. One who is unjust or dishonest about small matters will also be unjust or dishonest about major things. Think about that for a moment. God uses a number of different metaphors for the church in talking to us about how we're supposed to behave as church members. We are sometimes referred to as members of the body of Christ. That's the body metaphor. This teaches us certain things about unity and how we're supposed to act together. In other places, he uses the family. The Gospel of John and the Epistle of 1 John are especially well known for talking about the church and church members as a family. But in a number of cases, Jesus also uses the metaphor of business life. He uses terms like a steward or a manager. And in the case of our text today, this follows right after the parable of the unjust steward. The unjust steward is a very difficult parable for many people to deal with because it appears that Jesus is commending an activity that is morally and ethically wrong. But I think the key lesson here is that this steward took what he had and put everything that he knew into it, even though he stepped over the line ethically. So we come down to verse 10, and here we have the lesson. Faithful in that which is least, faithful also in much. Now, you kind of think of this as when you're younger, you're put in charge of smaller things, and you slowly build yourself up until you're older, and then you get to be in charge of the big things. But I've kind of changed my mind on that over the years. Starting a couple of years ago, I began to work on my own time management. Despite my age, I decided that I needed to do some substantial changes in the way I managed my day. Now, I can work for many hours at a time. I'm happy with a 16-hour day. That's not a boast. It can actually be a problem. I can end up working hours a day, 7 days a week, and neglecting my family. But that's something that I can do. The problem was, what am I getting done during those hours? Am I getting the most possible benefit out of them? And secondly, am I getting the most important things done? So I started to look at what I was doing with each day and take notes and make lists and say, here's how I spent my day, here are how the hours went. Amongst many things that I discovered, and I've found these in many authors who know a great deal more about time management than I do, sometimes large tasks that are divided into small ones can get accomplished more readily if you go and take a small element of a task every day. Small tasks that you ignore are going to continue to be ignored until they create a problem, if they're ever going to. Small excuses about small things, end up causing big results after a period of time. I've also found that a huge amount of my time gets used on the little things. Going to the bank, filling out a few lines of a sales tax form, talking on the phone, getting and reading my mail. These are just things that took up time out of my morning this morning. Now, those things have to be done, but when you're managing your time, you have to pay attention to how much time you're spending on those things and what is most important. Your money can be very similar. When you have budget problems, as I have from time to time, you start looking for a problem. When I started looking for a problem, I was looking for big problems. If I'm having a budget that's a couple $100 out of balance with what I think it should be, what I'm looking for is $200 expenditures that were unexpected. What I really found was, yes, there are big items like gas that get in the way, but mostly there are small items, $5, $10, $20 items, that add up to big items and throw the budget out of balance. If you get hold of these little things, you'll find other things falling into space. The small demands on your time, the small demands on your money. To be faithful in dealing with those, and wise. And yes, there are small demands on your spiritual life and your spiritual energy as well. Be faithful. Be wise in small things. Thanks for listening. Running Toward the Goal is brought to you each weekday by Pacesetters Bible School in Pensacola, Florida. Pacesetters Bible School is an organization dedicated to improving Christian education. To find out more about our programs and events, please check our website, BiblePaceCenter.org. That's all one word, BiblePaceCenter.org. Thanks for listening, and may God richly bless you.